There's a certain kind of person who exists between worlds. Not quite here, not quite there. Always standing at the threshold where thought meets infinity. They are the ones who look at a starlit sky and don't just see light. They see time traveling across the void. They see ancient photons carrying messages from stars that died millennia ago. They see themselves as both observer and observed, a conscious point in an infinite field of possibility. These are the deep thinkers. But not just any deep thinkers. These are the quantum minds. The ones who understand, perhaps without even realizing it, that reality itself is a conversation between consciousness and cosmos. That every thought sends ripples through the fabric of existence. That the universe doesn't just exist around them. It exists through them. If you've ever felt like your mind operates on a frequency that others can't quite tune into, you're not alone. And before we dive deeper into this cosmic exploration, I want to invite you to join our community of fellow travelers on this journey of consciousness. If this resonates with you, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Your support helps us continue creating content that honors the depth of the human experience. And I truly hope you'll share your own experiences in the comments below. This is a conversation, not a monologue, and your insights matter. Now, let's venture into the quantum nature of the deep thinking mind. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called entanglement. Two particles, once connected, remain linked across any distance. Touch one, and the other responds instantaneously, as if space itself is an illusion. Deep thinkers live in a state of perpetual entanglement, not with particles, but with meaning itself. They can't see a falling leaf without feeling connected to every autumn that ever was. They can't hear a stranger's laughter without sensing the joy and sorrow woven beneath it. Everything is connected to everything else, and they feel those connections like invisible threads pulling at their consciousness. This isn't poetry. This is neuroscience meeting mysticism. Recent research in consciousness studies suggests that the brain operates not just through neural firing, but through quantum processes happening at the microtubule level. Tiny structures inside our neurons where consciousness itself might emerge from quantum coherence. Where thought exists in superposition, multiple possibilities at once, until the moment of awareness collapses them into a single experience. Deep thinkers navigate this quantum soup more consciously than most. When they pause before speaking, they're not just thinking. They're allowing multiple versions of their response to exist simultaneously, feeling into each possibility, sensing which timeline of words carries the truest frequency. Their silence isn't empty. It's full of collapsing wave functions, of potential realities being weighed, measured, felt. Most people experience life linearly, a flows to be flows to see. But the quantum mind experiences life holographically. Every moment contains echoes of every other moment. Past, present, and future exist as one vast field of now, and the deep thinker stands at the center, feeling it all at once. This is why nostalgia hits them like a physical force. This is why they can predict patterns others miss. They're not moving through time. They're surfing probability waves, sensing which futures want to be born. Here's where it gets mystical. Quantum theory tells us that observation changes reality. The famous double-slit experiment proved that particles behave differently when they're being watched, as if consciousness itself shapes the physical world. Deep thinkers know this instinctively. They've felt how their attention changes things, how focusing on a problem can shift its nature, how observing their own thoughts can alter their emotional state. They are both the scientist and the experiment, forever watching themselves watch themselves in an infinite hall of mirrors. This creates what I call the consciousness paradox. The more aware you become, the more you realize how much you shape what you perceive. But the more you shape it, the harder it becomes to know what's objectively real. Deep thinkers wrestle with this constantly. They question their own perceptions. They wonder, am I seeing clearly, or am I creating what I see? This isn't paranoia. It's cosmic humility. It's understanding that consciousness doesn't just reflect reality. It participates in creating it. Ancient mystics called this Maya, the veil of illusion. Modern physicists call it the observer effect. Deep thinkers live suspended between these truths, knowing that the universe is simultaneously real and dream, solid and fluid, definite and uncertain. And once you see reality this way, you can't unsee it. You become aware that every moment is a choice point. That attention is the brush with which consciousness paints existence. And that awareness, that knowing, changes everything. They see the world not as a fixed stage, but as a field of potential. Every interaction is a quantum event. Every conversation collapses infinite possibilities into a single shared reality. And they feel the weight of that. Because if consciousness shapes reality, then what we think matters. What we say matters. What we choose to observe matters. The deep thinker carries this knowledge like a sacred responsibility, understanding that they are not separate from the universe observing itself. They are the universe observing itself through these temporary eyes. There's another layer to this. Every thought has a frequency. Neuroscience can measure it. Brain waves oscillating at different speeds. Delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. But deep thinkers sense something beyond the measurable. They feel that thoughts are vibrational patterns that ripple outward into some vast field, what some call the quantum field, what others call consciousness itself, what the ancients called the Akashic records or the collective unconscious. When a deep thinker thinks, they're not just firing neurons. They're sending signals into this field. And sometimes, impossibly, the field answers back. You've experienced this. You think of someone and they call. You need an answer, and a book falls open to the exact page. You wonder about something, and a stranger says it out loud. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe consciousness is non-local, existing beyond the boundaries of your skull, connecting with other frequencies, other minds, other dimensions of knowing. Deep thinkers are naturally attuned to these synchronicities. Not because they're special, but because they're paying attention. While others dismiss these moments as random, deep thinkers recognize them as evidence of a deeper order. A cosmic intelligence orchestrating patterns that logic alone can't explain. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that reveal the hidden connections between mind and matter. Deep thinkers don't just notice these patterns. They live inside them. They follow them like breadcrumbs left by the universe itself. This sensitivity to frequency means they're affected by energies most people ignore. They walk into a room and feel its emotional residue. They meet someone and sense their inner state beneath the mask. They can tell when words and energy don't match, when someone says, "I'm fine," but their frequency screams pain. This isn't supernatural. It's supernatural, an amplified form of the mirror neurons and empathic circuits we all possess. But in deep thinkers, these circuits are turned up, tuned in, receiving signals from dimensions of experience that exist just beyond ordinary awareness. But here's what no one tells you about quantum consciousness. Just as the universe is mostly dark matter and dark energy, things we can't see but know must exist, the mind of a deep thinker is filled with dark thoughts. Not dark as in negative, dark as in unknown. Vast territories of consciousness they can sense but never fully illuminate. Questions that have no answers. Feelings that have no names. Intuitions that arrive from somewhere beyond logic, beyond memory, beyond the knowable self. Deep thinkers often feel haunted by what they don't understand about themselves. They map their inner world obsessively, but the map keeps expanding. Every answer reveals 10 more questions. Every insight opens into deeper mystery. And unlike ordinary overthinkers who spiral in anxiety, deep thinkers spiral in wonder. They're not afraid of the unknown inside them. They're in awe of it, because they understand that consciousness is infinite, that the self is not a small, separate thing, but a vast, interconnected field temporarily focused into the experience of being one person. This is where existential thinking becomes cosmic thinking. Deep thinkers don't just ask, "Who am I?" They ask, "What is I-ness? What is this sense of being a self?" They contemplate the fact that they are matter that has become aware of itself. Atoms forged in dying stars, now arranged into the pattern of a human being, asking questions about its own existence. They feel the strangeness of being anything at all. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why this particular configuration of matter and energy experiencing itself as you? These aren't idle philosophical questions. For the quantum mind, they're lived realities. Every moment of self-awareness is tinged with cosmic vertigo. The recognition that existence itself is the ultimate mystery. That we're not in the universe. We are the universe, locally concentrated, looking back at itself with wonder. And once you feel that, really feel it, life becomes both more precious and more surreal. Because you're no longer just living your life. You're channeling existence itself through the particular frequency of your consciousness. Quantum theory suggests that every decision point branches reality into multiple timelines. That somewhere in the probability space, every possible version of events exists simultaneously. Deep thinkers feel this multiplicity viscerally. When they make a choice, they don't just consider the option they picked. They grieve the paths not taken. They sense the ghost versions of themselves living alternate lives in parallel dimensions of possibility. The self who said yes when they said no. The self who stayed when they left. The self who spoke when they remained silent. This isn't regret. It's quantum awareness. It's feeling the weight of every collapsed wave function, every moment where infinite possibility crystallized into one specific reality. And it makes decision-making excruciating because deep thinkers know that choosing means killing infinite other versions of what could have been. They feel responsible not just for what happens, but for what doesn't happen, for all the unlived lives contained in every choice. But here's the gift hidden in that burden. By feeling the presence of these alternate selves, deep thinkers develop profound compassion. They understand that everyone exists in their own probability field, that each person is navigating infinite choices, each one collapsing their reality into a unique pattern. So when someone makes a choice the deep thinker wouldn't make, they don't judge. They understand, because they can feel the weight of why. They can sense the invisible factors, the quantum variables, that made that choice inevitable for that person in that moment. This is what makes deep thinkers such powerful healers, even when they don't realize it. Their ability to hold multiple realities simultaneously allows them to see people not as fixed entities, but as processes, as becoming, as infinite potential temporarily manifested in this particular form. They don't see your mistakes as who you are. They see them as what you did in one timeline, while sensing all the versions of you who chose differently. And that vision, that quantum empathy, can be more healing than any advice. Yet for all this cosmic awareness, deep thinkers face a profound challenge. What physicists call the void, the space between particles where nothing exists but pure potential. Deep thinkers know this void intimately. They feel it in the gaps between thoughts, in the silence after a conversation ends, in the space where meaning should be but isn't. And sometimes that void is terrifying because it reminds them that beneath all the patterns, all the connections, all the meaning they work so hard to find, there might be nothing. Just randomness, just chaos, just the cold, indifferent mathematics of a universe that doesn't care. This is the existential crisis of the quantum mind. To see so clearly that meaning isn't inherent in things. It's projected onto things by consciousness. To know that the universe doesn't owe us significance. We create significance by choosing where to place our attention, what stories to tell ourselves, what connections to honor. And that realization can feel like falling through space with nothing to hold on to. But here's where the mystical truth emerges. The void isn't empty. Quantum field theory tells us that what we call empty space is actually seething with virtual particles, constantly appearing and disappearing, a foaming ocean of potential. And deep thinkers discover that the void inside consciousness works the same way. What feels like emptiness is actually pregnant with possibility. The silence between thoughts isn't absence. It's the space where new thoughts are born. The meaninglessness they fear isn't nihilism. It's freedom. Freedom to create meaning rather than just discover it. The wisest deep thinkers learn to dance with the void. To sit in uncertainty without demanding answers. To feel the groundlessness of existence and find peace in the falling. Because they realize that consciousness itself is the void becoming aware of itself. That awareness doesn't need content to be valid. The simple fact of experiencing, of being conscious at all, is the miracle. Everything else is decoration. And this brings us to the final mystery. The paradox that all deep thinkers eventually face. You can think yourself into understanding everything and end up experiencing nothing. Or you can take what I call the quantum leap. The moment when you stop trying to figure out life and start letting life move through you. When analysis gives way to allowing. When the mind that questions everything finally surrenders to the heart that knows without knowing. This isn't anti-intellectual. It's trans-intellectual. It's realizing that thinking is a tool, not an identity. That the deepest truths can't be thought. They can only be felt, lived, embodied. The quantum physicist can write equations describing how particles behave, but to truly understand quantum reality, you have to become comfortable with paradox, with complementarity, with the fact that light is both wave and particle, that reality is both determined and free, that you are both a tiny fragment of the universe and the universe itself experiencing one particular point of view. Deep thinkers who make this leap don't think less. They think differently. They use thought as a bridge between mystery and manifestation, between the infinite and the immediate. They become what the mystics called awakened. Not because they've transcended thinking, but because they've learned to let thought serve love instead of fear. Serve connection instead of separation. Serve presence instead of endless analysis. And in that state, something remarkable happens. The questions that tormented them don't disappear, but they stop being problems and become koans. Living riddles that aren't meant to be solved, but to be carried like sacred stones in the pocket of consciousness. Each question a reminder of the infinite that lives inside the finite. Each mystery an invitation to wonder rather than worry. Each moment of not knowing a chance to practice the highest form of intelligence, which is openness itself. You see, deep thinkers aren't broken. They're not overthinking. They're remembering something the rest of humanity has temporarily forgotten. That we are consciousness itself, playing the game of being separate. That every thought is a universe exploring itself. That attention is the most powerful force in existence because it's the mechanism through which the formless takes form. The invisible becomes visible, the potential becomes actual. The quantum psychology of deep thinkers reveals what ancient wisdom traditions have always known. That consciousness is fundamental, not emergent. That mind doesn't arise from matter. Matter arises in mind. That the universe isn't something we're in. It's something we're made of, and simultaneously something that's made of us. Subject and object dissolving into one seamless field of experiencing itself. If you're a deep thinker, you carry this truth in your bones even when you can't articulate it. You feel the weight of being a temporary aperture through which infinity peers into form. You sense that your thoughts aren't just random neural firings, but ripples in the cosmic mind. You know, even when you doubt everything else, that consciousness is the greatest mystery and the only certainty. Because you can doubt what you perceive, but you can't doubt that you're perceiving. This is your gift. Not just intelligence, but cosmic sensitivity. The ability to feel the universe feeling itself through you. And yes, it's overwhelming sometimes. Yes, it makes you different. Yes, it can feel like a burden when all you want is to be simple, to be light, to be like everyone else who seems to move through life without drowning in depth. But you're not like everyone else. And the world doesn't need you to be. What the world needs is exactly what you are. Someone who refuses to accept reality at face value. Someone who questions the systems that others follow blindly. Someone who can hold paradox without collapsing into certainty. Someone who knows that the universe is stranger and more beautiful than any story we tell about it. Deep thinkers are the ones who keep humanity from becoming mechanical, who remind us that efficiency isn't everything, that speed isn't wisdom, that knowing isn't the same as understanding. You are the poets and the philosophers and the artists and the mystics, even if you've never written a poem or pondered philosophy or created art or practiced mysticism. Because deep thinking itself is an art, a mysticism, a philosophy lived rather than studied. And in this age of algorithms and artificial intelligence, of reality reduced to data and experience reduced to metrics, the quantum mind becomes more precious than ever. Because machines can process information, but they can't wonder. They can't stand beneath a night sky and feel the terrible beauty of being a conscious speck in an unconscious cosmos. They can't know the peculiar joy of confusion, the sweet ache of mystery, the profound love that arises when you truly see another being not as an object, but as another aperture of the same infinite awareness looking back at you. Your sensitivity isn't weakness. It's your superpower. Your tendency to see patterns is how evolution gifted you with the ability to navigate complexity. Your need for solitude is your soul's way of processing the overwhelming input of existing in a world that moves too fast for depth. Your questions aren't problems to be solved. They're prayers whispered into the quantum field, and sometimes, if you listen carefully, the field whispers back. So here's what I want you to know. If you've made it this far in this exploration, you're not alone. There are others like you scattered across this strange planet, orbiting this average star, in this unremarkable corner of an infinite universe. And we're all connected, entangled across space and time, by the simple fact that we dare to think deeply, to feel fully, to question everything while loving it all anyway. The quantum psychology of deep thinkers isn't just about understanding yourself. It's about recognizing your place in the cosmic story. You are the universe's way of knowing itself. Every time you stop to wonder, to reflect, to dive into the depths of consciousness, you're fulfilling the universe's deepest purpose, which is to become aware. to transform from unconscious matter into conscious experience, to turn stardust into questions, atoms into awe. Don't shrink from that responsibility. Don't apologize for your depth. Don't numb yourself to fit into a world that prefers surfaces to depths. Because that depth you carry, that's not just yours. It belongs to the cosmos itself. You're borrowing it for a brief time, this conscious awareness, and your job isn't to understand it fully. Your job is to honor it, to use it, to let it move through you and touch others who are ready to remember what you already know. That consciousness is the ground of being. That love is the organizing principle. That we're all waves in the same ocean, pretending to be separate drops. That death is just a change in form, not an ending. That every ending is a beginning wearing a mask. That the universe isn't happening to you. It's happening as you, through you, because of you. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you think so deeply. Not because something's wrong with you, but because something's profoundly right. You're tuned to a frequency that most people can't hear. You're operating on a bandwidth that includes not just the visible, but the invisible. Not just the spoken, but the silent. Not just the known, but the unknowable. Keep thinking deeply. Keep feeling fully. Keep questioning wisely. Because in a world that's racing toward answers, we need people who are brave enough to sit with questions. In a civilization that worships certainty, we need those who can dance with doubt. In an era that fears silence, we need minds that know that silence is where truth speaks loudest. You are the quantum observers collapsing infinite possibility into meaning. You are the conscious witnesses to the universe's unfolding. You are the deep thinkers, and you are exactly what this moment in cosmic history requires. Thank you for being here. Thank you for thinking deeply. Thank you for adding your unique frequency to the symphony of consciousness. Please share your thoughts, your experiences, your own quantum mysteries in the comments below. Let's create a field of resonance together. And if this touched something in you, pass it forward. Share it with someone who needs to know they're not alone in their depth. Until next time, keep diving deep. Keep reaching high. Keep honoring the mystery. Because you're not just in the universe. You are the universe, understanding itself, one profound thought at a time.